Hey guys, welcome to RibbonsBoutique's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a stacked boutique bow, something similar to this one. As you can see, there's a few pieces in this bow, and I'm going to show you how to do each individual piece, and then at the end we're going to stack them all together to get that perfect bow. So like I said, we're going to make one similar to this one. As you can see, like my resin here in the center, the centerpiece is a different color than this one, so I'm switching up the colors just a little bit, but it's going to be very similar to this one, just colors are going to be switched. And also, as you can see in our main bow here, there is another color there. So I'm going to show you how you can do that and make your bow extra contrasting. And then here's the back. So the material that we're going to be working with today is 7/8 inch ribbon. You're going to need 2 of the same size because this is going to be our main bow. These are going to be cut at 21 inches. And then we're going to be working with our spikes, which you see on this end, and then these 2 pieces here. I've already cut one here to show you what it looks like when you get done, but I'm going to do another one and show you guys how to do that. You're going to need a total of 7 pieces. And you can do any colors you want. You want one piece to be about 1.5 inch or 1 inch piece, whichever you choose. That is going to be for the center spike, as you can see here. So you're going to want these to be cut at 6 inches. And then you're also going to need another piece of 7/8 inch ribbon, and this is going to be the little bow that we're going to put in the center of our main bow when we place our little centerpiece on there. And this one here is going to be cut at about 10 inches. You're also going to need an alligator clip. You're going to need some 3/8 inch ribbon to line your alligator clip with, which I will also show you how to do. You're also going to need another thing of 3/8 inch ribbon, because one thing that is not on this bow are some embellishment bows. So I'm going to show you how to quickly make some of those. So we're going to make a couple of them. You're going to need your centerpiece, and I've got mine here. And for our little embellishment bows, I'm going to place some rhinestones in the center. So if you got some on hand, grab those. And you're only going to need 2. You're also going to need your needle with thread or embroidery floss. To me, it doesn't matter what color I use. You can see I've got like a turquoise bluish color here. It's going to be hidden anyway, so to me it doesn't matter what color it is. You're going to want it to have like a triple knot there at the end, because whenever we run it through the bow or the spikes, we want it to catch so that our bow doesn't fall apart. So make sure you put a knot at the end. And you're going to want 2 of these, because you're going to use one for your bow as well as one for your spikes. You're going to need your scissors to cut your ribbon, a tape measure or a tape ruler to measure out your ribbon. I did have a paper tape measure type thing, but my boys got a hold of it and there's no telling where it went. Like I mentioned, you're going to need some thread or embroidery floss. Embroidery floss works really good because it's a lot thicker. So I definitely recommend that. You're going to need a lighter to heat seal the ends of all your ribbons so that none of it frays and falls apart. And last but not least, you are going to need your handy dandy hot glue gun. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is line our alligator clip. And if you want, you can take any 3/8 inch color ribbon to do this. Normally what I do, because all alligator clips measure differently, is I will clip my ribbon first while it's still on the spool, and then I'll just run it over it, and then I always tuck down in here and then bring it around the back, and then I cut my ribbon there. But this here, for this alligator clip, which I purchased mine at Hobby Lobby, the ribbon that measures for those is 5.5 inches. So if you have any of those clips, go ahead and get your ribbon out, measure it, and then go ahead and heat seal both ends of your ribbon. And once you've done that, you're going to take your hot glue gun and you're just going to run about 1 inch of hot glue I don't think mine's heated up well enough yet. There we go. Well, okay. So about 1 inch on the end, and then you're going to take your alligator clip, open it up, and then just clamp it. Where the glue on the ribbon is going to hit the top part of the clip. Like this. So when I open it, my ribbon is sticking to the top of my clip, not the bottom. And then what we're going to do is just run some more glue along the top of our alligator clip here. If I can get, no, it's being stubborn. Okay, so I ran my glue across. And we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to fold it over, just like this. And then just place glue on the rest of your ribbon on the back side. And then we're going to tuck it into the two little, or the little pinchy prongs here, just like that. And then take this part and fold it down. So this is going to be the back side of your clip. So now we have our clip lined. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to move on to the next step. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make our main bow. You're going to take both of your 21-inch pieces of ribbon. If you have a pretty side and an ugly side, you want your pretty side to be face down if this is the part that you want to be on the outside of the bow. So turn that over, face down. Go ahead and heat seal the ends of your ribbon also with your lighter before you do this part. And then go ahead and take your other piece. And if you want so that it'll stay in place, you can put a dot of glue here at the end, which is what I like to do. Just a little dot, not a whole lot. And you just want to do it on one end and just kind of place your other piece over the top there. And then we're just going to stack them like so. And it's okay if it's not completely even because this is going to be in the center of the bow anyways, the ends are. So once you get that part done, what we're going to do is we're going to just fold it like this. And we're going to crease. And this is going to be our guide so that when we fold our bow to make our ribbon, or when we fold our ribbon to make our bow, you'll be able to see where you're going to stick your ends. So make sure you crease it really good so you can see whenever you open it up. If I can open mine. Okay, so you can see I've got my crease there. And we're going to start on one end, kind of like we're going to be making an awareness bow. So we're going to take this end and we're just going to bring it around like this. So I'll do that again so you can see. Just take your end, bring it around like this. And you don't want to bring it like this or your bow's going to be really loopy. If you want it tight loops, do it just like that. We're going to do the same thing with the other side while you hold this. So we're going to take this part and we're going to go up and just go over the top of this. So I'll do that again. I'm just going to go this way with it. We're not turning it inside out or anything, we're just bringing it over. So our ends meet like this. And we've got a figure 8. Now while you're still holding it in the center, you're going to take one end right here and we're just going to place it in the center like this. Just like that. and pick it up while you're holding it together. You'll be able to see. And you can adjust as long as you're holding with the other hand. You know, make sure your loops are even. We're going to do the same thing with this end. We're going to take it and bring it towards the center. You can turn it over and take a look at your loops, make sure they're even. I'm pretty happy with mine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do an accordion fold. So we're going to fold in this way, like this, and then down, and then back up again. Hold it together and it'll look like that. Now this is the part where we're going to take our needle and thread. Once you got your needle and thread, you're going to just run it through the middle. So I usually like to go in between my fingers like this, just like that. And it's a little thick when you do it this way, so be careful. I like to use the bottom of something to kind of push. Make sure your fingers are out of the way though when the needle comes through, and it will look like that. So once you do that, you can pull it through the rest of the way, just like this, till the knot catches, and then you're going to go around. I like to go around a good 5-6 times. Once you do that, pull it good and tight, and we're going to tie it off. And I like to do this a couple times too, so that my knot is double knotted. Do it one more time. Okay, so once you've done that, just cut off your excess thread. That came out a little funny. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this extra off because we're going to have to thread it again for our spikes. So I'm going to go ahead and thread mine. There. Sorry for that. Alright, now what we're going to do is just open up our bow, turn it over to the back side. Just going to kind of fold it down like this. And then bring it over to the front, and you can bend your bows in towards you. And we have got our bow. Okay. So now for our surround bow. You guys seen I had some spool of 3/8 orange grosgrain ribbon sitting here in the beginning of the video. You're going to take that and you're going to cut, heat seal, and you want to measure these out to be 11.5 inches a piece. Once you've done that and you've heat sealed the ends, this is the easiest part of making the bow. What you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're just going to fold and crease. So the part of the bow that we are making is this right here, where you see these orange pieces around the main bow. So once you've done your crease, you're going to take your hot glue gun and put a dot of glue on each side of the crease. One there, and then one there. Once you've done that, you're going to take one end, and you're just going to bring it around like this. And we're going to do the same with the other side. We're just going to bring it around like this until they meet. My ribbon was a little creased there on the spool, so I may have to take my lighter and flatten that out a little bit. Okay, so it looks like that. So we're going to make another one. We're just going to fold, crease, and then you're going to get your hot glue gun and place one dot of glue on each side of the crease. And we're going to take our end and bring it around, kind of like we did when we first made our bow. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. And they kind of look like butterfly wings. Now, once you've done that, you're going to take your main bow, you're going to turn it over to the back, and where you have your thread, you're going to put a line of glue on one side and a line of glue on the other side. Make sure you don't put it directly on that thread because we're going to have to crease, or not crease, I'm sorry, we're going to have to stack everything and we don't want these to be in the way. So you're going to take your surround a bow and you're going to place it where it's kind of open into the bow. So on the back, you're going to find the center and just place it on there just like this. Just like that. Just to the side of the thread. So now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Just place a line of glue on the side of that thread there on the bow on the back. Then take your surround a bow, center it, and then see, we want a gap so that whenever we wrap everything around, these aren't going to be in the way. Turn your bow over. Okay. Guys, so now we have made our bow, we have done our surround a bow, and we have also lined our alligator clip. This is the exact same order in which I make my bows. Next, what we're going to do is work on our spikes. So take all of your, how many pieces did I say we had? 6 or 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces, and lay them all out. So like I mentioned, I've already done one spike, so I'm going to show you real quickly how to go ahead and do the others. What you're going to do is take one of your spikes, you're going to fold it in half. We're not going to crease though, we're just going to fold at the end like this. And then we're going to do another fold this way. So it will be like this. So I'm going to do that again so you guys can see. So we're just going to fold like this, and then the other way one time. Make sure your ends are perfectly lined up. Now you're going to take your scissors, and starting at the corner on the end where it's open at the bottom, we're going to just cut up like this. Okay, now while it's still folded, take your lighter and heat seal. Don't do it too much though, and hurry up and open it, because if you don't, it will all stick together. If some of your ends didn't heat seal like mine didn't here, you can take your lighter again and you can go back over it just like that. So do that with all your pieces. So once you have cut and heat sealed all the ends of your spikes, we're going to start placing them. So we're going to start off with our biggest, thickest piece, and we're going to place it just like this. And then you can take whatever 2 colors you want to next. It's just totally up to you. I'm gonna do black. Make sure your corners are completely lined up. So we're just kind of Xing over that big one. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and work with my, I'm going to do this, I think. Actually, no. If you're using a pretty side, I just caught myself. Make sure you flip it over. Because this is going to be the back side of our spikes. Turn it this way. And like I said, make sure that all the ends of your spikes are touching. Okay, Now once you've got this far, what you're going to do is put your finger down in the center, grab them all up on one end, and then we're going to once again do, see, this will be our front, we're going to do an accordion fold. So we're going to fold down like this, and then up, and then we're going to bring this back. So we've got the accordion fold like this. And then you're going to take your needle and your thread, and you're going to go through the center. And go around it a few times. When you do this, I like to make sure my ends are pulled evenly apart. And then we're going to tie it off by just going through here a few times to ensure it's not going anywhere. Okay, and then just cut off your excess thread. And put that to the side, and then take it to the back and just unfold it. Separate your spikes. And just kind of twist them in towards this side. And it's okay if they're all bunched up, because you can fix them once you get everything stacked. I know some of mine look a little out of place right now, but we will get that all fixed. If you want to, you can kind of tug and pull on them. Okay, and then you've got your spikes. Guys, so now that we've finished with our spikes, we're now going to make some little side embellishment bows, and we're going to make two. I cut my ribbon here. Whenever I first showed you my video, I had a spool of 3/8" ribbon. Any color contrasting will work. I'm just working with yellow and white polka dot. You want to cut your ribbon at, let's see, normally I just eyeball it, but for you guys, I have cut mine at 5 3/4 of an inch long. So get two of those and do that, and heat seal the ends. Then once you do that, what we're going to do is make an awareness bow. We're just going to fold it down about like this. You want some tails that are a good length at the end, maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And go ahead where it's crossed here, underneath, put a dot of glue. And then hold that down. This is the most simplest way to make embellishment bows, I think. Now what you're going to do, once you've done that, you're going to turn it over to the back, right here in the center where they've both crossed. Place another dot of glue. And then just take the center part of this loop and just bring it on down and hold it just like that. Once you have done that, turn it over, and then right there in the center just place a dot of glue. You remember those rhinestones I showed you in the beginning of this video? We're going to put one just right there in the center. And then once you complete this part, go ahead and do the same with the other side. Make sure your ends are heat sealed. If you want to, you can cut them at an angle. I like to kind of go up with mine a little bit. But once you do this, you do want to heat seal them. Just like that. So go ahead and do the same with your other ribbon. Okay guys, now you're going to take your 10-inch piece of ribbon that we're going to use for the very center bow that's going to go in the center of this bow. We're going to take it and we're going to fold it like an awareness bow, just like we did these two embellishment bows. Once again, leaving some tail length. Make sure your tails are somewhat even. And then just bring this part down. And we're going to do a quick little fold like we did on the spikes, and then our bow we're going to do an accordion fold. So I'm going to do 3 folds, and you don't have to use a needle. You can actually just use some thread here. I'm just going to wrap it around a few times till it catches. You have to pull on it. And then once it does that, you're going to just turn it over and then just tie your 2 pieces. So once you have done that, and you cut the excess string off, you can turn your bow over and kind of fold it out to the way you like it. And then if you want to trim off some of your tail, do an angle like we did these, you can. Or if you want to do it like I did on this bow and kind of angle them like we did on the spikes, you can do that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So go ahead and trim your tails the way you like, and we will start stacking everything. Okay, so I just did like the spikes for my tails on this bow, and it's why it's good to cut it at 10 inches so that you have enough tail to take it as short as you need to, so that it's not too long whenever you place it in the center of this bow, that the spikes aren't going way out. So what we're going to do to go ahead and start stacking is we're going to take our spikes, and right here in the center we're going to put a line of glue across. And then you're going to take your bow here with the surrounded bow attached and place that right there in the center. Make sure it's lined up perfectly. And hold it there for a minute. Okay, so once you do that, we'll go ahead and add this bow to the center there. Just put a dot of glue. And place that like so. And after we do this, we're not going to place our centerpiece yet, because we have to go around the center with a piece of ribbon so that it all holds together. So once you've cut you off a piece of ribbon, make sure it's pretty good length, somewhere around 6 inches. Go ahead and place a dot of glue in the center of this bow. And then take that ribbon you just cut and place it like this. And hold it there for a minute. And then we're going to bring each end around to the back. So make sure everything kind of separates down the middle. Make sure your spikes aren't in the way. Make sure you go in between what you need to, so that everything is in comparison similar. Alright, and just bring it around to the back. And if you want, you can kind of adjust everything in the front as you're holding the back ribbon. And you can kind of see how it's all coming together. So hold it here on the sides. As you turn it over to the back, obviously we've got some really long strings, so we want to cut those off pretty short. And once you've done that, go ahead and heat seal those ends of the ribbon, and then we're just going to glue them to the back of the bow here. So now that we've got everything together and we have brought our pieces around to the back and have glued them, if you have any loose hot glue, you can always take your lighter and just kind of go over it like this, and it'll get all that stringy glue off. Your bow here, your main bow, if it's kind of out of shape with loops, you can always take it and fold it and bend it any way you want to get it how you want it, how you like it to look. You can use some starch spray to stiffen it. I've never needed to, because my bows, the way I guess I measure it and everything is pretty stiff and in place. But now what we're going to do is go ahead and add our 2 little embellishment bows. Like I said, you can put them like here if you want. You could do them like this, or you could put them on the outside of your spike like this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do mine like that. So just take a dot of glue, put it on the back of each one of your little embellishment bows, and then place it where you want to on the bow. So I'm going to put one here on the corner like that, and then I'm going to do one on the opposite side as well. facing this way. So once you've done that, your bow is basically almost completed. It looks so cute. Now what we're going to do is place our center part right here. So place a dot of glue there. Just enough so that it'll hold in place and not come off. Alright, so there we have it. Our cute little Halloween bow. Yes, I know I did a Halloween bow. I'm doing Halloween though because I'm making some bows for donations to benefit for a little boy who has heart disease, and one of the family members had asked me if I could donate some bows, and of course I would love to. I'd be honored to. Now on the back, what you're going to do is on your alligator clip, place a line of glue. And then just turn your clip over and hold it there for a minute. Or if you want to you know, make it more secure, whenever you put the ribbon here around the bow, instead of going ahead and gluing it, you can go ahead and attach this first and then bring that ribbon underneath the clip. That way it holds a little bit better. It's totally optional though and up to you. It's totally your preference, whatever you choose to do. Make it your own. And we have a completed stacked boutique bow. I hope this was easy to follow along with, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know I haven't done one in a really long time, but definitely stay tuned because my little one's getting older, so I'm getting a little bit more free time to make things and do tutorials like this for you guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.